Sue Pfister is the longtime director of the Westport Senior Center. In fact, you could say she is the Senior Center. She's been with them since 1986 when you did your internship at the YMCA. You've been with them through their moves to Greens Farms Elementary School, to Staples High School, where it was sort of intergenerational, and finally to the beautiful building on Imperial Avenue. Sue, you are the Senior Center's public face. You help create and run programs. You're in charge of the money. You're in charge of the meals. You name it. Everyone who goes to the Senior Center loves it, and they all love you. So welcome to 06880, the podcast.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you for this opportunity.
So let's start at the beginning. When you were a little kid, did you want to work with older people?
As I was reflecting back, I remember my family. I have 3 siblings. We would pack up into the old Ford station wagon and go visit my grandmother, Bopsy, as she was called, in Waterbury on Sundays. And I guess looking back, those visits really played a role in helping me predict my career. I went to Sacred Heart University with my twin brother. We commuted together, so it was, I'm dating myself, it was before they had dorms on campus. And I didn't know what to do with myself, so I studied business. And then into my sophomore year, I thought, I'm not feeling it, but I'm not going to tell mom and dad that I'm not feeling it. And at the same time, my grandmother was ailing, and back in those days, you really didn't bring care into the home. You placed your loved one into a nursing home. So my grandmother was placed into a nursing home, and every Friday, my mom and I would go visit her. And that really was the transition. That was the changing point in my life. I would go visit, spend time with Bocce, but then I found myself wandering the hallways and speaking with other elderly people. And I thought, I can make a difference just by walking into their room, or the folks that were suffering with Alzheimer's, just by taking their hand. So I thought a spark went off. So I went back to my guidance counselor at Sacred Heart University, and it was at that point that I took a social work course. And the rest is kind of history. I majored in social work and minored in business, and went on to graduate school at Fordham University and got my MSW.
That's fascinating. I had no idea. And what got you to Westport?
Fran Reynolds, may she rest in peace. Fran was my mentor. I did an internship with the Department of Human Services, and Fran was my counselor. And she and I always stayed in touch even when I went on to graduate school. And she gave me a call one day and said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I'm going to graduate in May and look for a job." And she said, "Well, we have a job opening. Maybe you'll apply for it." And that job was a program specialist and coordinator. So it was a combination of planning programs at the Senior Center, but also of doing some home visits, which was enlightening for me. So I applied, and that was back in 1987. And I've been the director of the Senior Center for 33 years, and it's been really a career that I never could have imagined. It's been absolutely wonderful and very, very rewarding.
So walk us through the history of the Senior Center, how it was created, why it was created, and how it's evolved.
So we were nomads for a very long time, and throughout my career, I said there's going to come a time when we're going to stop supporting Purcell movers. Many of the old townies would hire Purcells to move. We started at the YMCA in a room called the Bedford Room. It was one room, and that's where everything happened. We quickly outgrew that.
What was going on there?
It was everything. One room had art, one room had bingo. Back in the 80s, that's what senior centers were. We've come a long way, and I'll get into that. And then there was lunches, some exercise programs, but very self-contained in one room. So as the population increased and the participation increased, we needed more space. And we were lucky enough to capture the lower level of the Greens Farms Elementary School and share it with the art center upstairs.
The school had been closed.
The school had been closed because of the decline in enrollment. So that worked out well until the little darlings grew up and the Board of Education needed to reclaim that school. In the interim, the high school enrollment was declining, so we were able to work with the Board of Education And I believe you were at the high school then. We occupied what is now the culinary area opposite the gym and the swimming pool. And that turned out to be a really nice, engaging, intergenerational event because the seniors got to interact with the Staples students. And it was really like being at a college campus. We also were able to utilize the pool, the track. Seniors were able to go into some of the classrooms. The worst part, or the worst memory I have about that period of my career was trying to eat lunch with the seniors in the cafeteria after the third shift of the high school students. That was a complete disaster, but other than that, it was all positive. And then the kids grew up and the high school needed its space back. The high school underwent the tremendous renovation. We tried to incorporate the senior center into the space, but it just wasn't going to work out. So through the leadership of First Select Woman Diane Farrell back then in 2003, 2004, we were able to build a beautiful building, and I actually brought a brochure of the building on what's known as the Barron's Property South, which is a parcel of land that the Parks and Rec runs. And we created really a college lifelong learning center for seniors 60 plus years of age. Everything was going really well until we outgrew this space. So
how big was the original building?
12,000 square feet. So First Selectman at the time, Jim Marpy, formed an enhancement committee through the leadership of tremendous volunteer Lynn Goldberg, and we developed plans to put on an expansion utilizing town funds, but also we have a Friends of the Westport Center for Senior Activities, which is run by our dear friend Jack Kling. And they helped fundraise, and we put on a beautiful wing with a fabulous fitness center and some other spaces. And everything was going quite well, and then this thing called COVID came. And as you and I were talking about earlier, we were here the first week in March for a community forum on this thing called COVID coming down the pike. And March 20th of 2020, we abruptly shut our doors, thinking it was going to be for 2 weeks.
And it was for?
We opened up again July 1st, 2021.
So 16 months.
Never in my right mind did I think it was going to be that long.
And now we're right at the beginning of February when we're taping this, and you just opened up again yesterday after a hiatus of about another month.
Correct. And I have to say, yesterday I was so inspired to see the seniors coming back. There's nothing worse than walking down the corridors of this beautiful facility and seeing every room empty. And there's no life, there's no energy. When that door opens and when the seniors come in, it's like revitalization. It's remarkable, it's wonderful. The seniors are so appreciative. I was just speaking with them this morning and giving them high fives, welcome back. They're comfortable, they're wearing masks, they're respecting each other's level of comfortability, and it's working out really well. I think it will take some time for us to get back to our pre-COVID numbers where we were having 350 people a day come in. We're not there by any means, but that's a goal. That's a goal.
And what do they come for?
You name it, they come for it, and if we don't have it, they let us know, and we hope to deliver that program. So it's really about lifelong learning. Our mission is to keep people socially engaged, to keep their mind, body, and spirit intact, to challenge them physically and mentally, and also to provide them with a nutritious meal. So early on in my career, seniors used to come and hang out. They don't do that anymore. They're constantly coming and going. There's no TV to hang out. There's no one sleeping on the sofas. They're engaged. They're busy. People are aging very differently today than they were years ago. Seniors volunteer a lot. They have a lot of areas of expertise. They're very engaged in extracurricular activities outside of the center, which is good. So there's a constant flow of energy coming in and out. We have a full gym, so a lot of people are working on maintaining their strength and their balance in the hope of preventing falls. We have ukulele classes. Who would have thought? But music is a big part of people's lives. So it's just so rewarding for me to see someone take on a new challenge, regardless of their age. I mean, I try to speak Spanish. I do a horrible job. I need to find time to learn Spanish. And my seniors are learning Spanish so that they can engage with their gardeners. And I just admire that. They're not afraid to take on something new. And that's what keeps them young.
And some of the other programs?
There's a lot of support groups. We do a caregiver support group. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people diagnosed with Parkinson's disease at a younger senior age. So we've offered some counseling for that, a support group, and also a boxing class because you have to coordinate your mind and your body. So that class has worked out really well. As you know, arts is a big activity in the community, and we have 2 art rooms with a numerous array of classes. There's food is always important. We have a culinary teaching kitchen, and many of the seniors take classes. We have 2 nutritionists on staff. So you name it, we do it. Pilates is big, Tai Chi is big. Really maintaining your mind and your body, because obviously the goal for everyone is to age in place at home for as long as you can in a safe manner. And that's our goal.
So who are the seniors in Westport? What type of person comes, and has it changed over the years?
Well, seniors are aging gracefully, aging better, aging well. I look at a senior and they're 90 and they look like they're 70, 75. Age is just a number. So we're getting all different types of folks from our minimum age, which is 60, to we've had actually Ted Diamond over 100 come to the center.
104.
100, yeah, well, a few, yeah. So that's a challenge because that 40-year age span requires a diversified program and course offerings. By that I mean if you come to an exercise class, you're fit, you're a senior, you can come. I can just tell by you're going to want something that's challenging, weights and so forth. Whereas someone who's 90, 95, and I don't mean to stereotype, but we have to do different types of classes for the different levels of folks that come through the door. And I'm really grateful and appreciative to have the wonderful staff that I have, the creativity to be flexible and design programs that meet the needs, because it is very different. And also the instructors. We have instructors that really put their hearts and their souls into the programs. And specifically during COVID, our instructors really stuck with our Zoom classes and what we asked of them, because everyone cares so much about each individual who walks through that door.
Did the seniors adapt to Zoom?
Well, that was challenging. Jason Wilson, my program specialist, really took on the assignment of doing the virtual courses, which included Zoom. Some seniors got it, some seniors didn't get it. We did work closely with Staples High School students, and they did help seniors get on Zoom. For those that didn't adapt, we offered a YouTube channel, which was brand new. So we offered a lot of classes on that. And also through the Town of Westport's IT department, we were able to utilize a couple of hours a week on Public Access Channel 79. So for the senior who could just use the clicker, they can do Channel 79. For the senior that could get onto the internet, they could do the YouTube. And then for the senior who could do Zoom, that was a home run. And there was nothing more inspiring for me to see a screen of all of my seniors on Zoom during the pandemic. Because don't forget, it was hard for the staff. I mean, we had a quiet house. We all worked our butts off, but there was no seniors in the house. So I would tap into some of the Zooms just to get re-energized. And some seniors relocated to be closer to their sons and daughters during the pandemic, and it was nice to see them. So Zoom definitely had its benefits.
So really, the seniors who didn't live here could still be part of the senior center. It sounds like everything you've said. You've talked about Democrat and Republican for select persons who are and Staples High School students and staff. It sounds like the town really regards the senior center as important?
You know, that's a good question, Dan. I have colleagues who are jealous of me, they envy me, and I always said it starts at the top. If you don't have the support from the selectman's office and the boards and the commissions and the wonderful volunteer committees we have, it's an uphill battle. And I've been really blessed to be in Westport. It's a community that respects having its seniors age in the community. You know, everyone always says, oh, we spend so much money on the Board of Ed, and I've always been an advocate not to pit the kids against the seniors because our town really does value both segments of the population. And it's important to keep our seniors in the community. And there are a lot of programs for those that are financially struggling to help them stay in the community.
So let's talk a bit about the senior population. Is it people who've lived in Westport and are aging in place? Their kids have moved away maybe? Is it people who are moving in to be with their children who now live in Westport? Who are seniors in Westport?
It's a combination. We have some townies, as I like to call them, but we also have seniors who have moved into town to be closer to their sons and daughters and grandchildren, which is wonderful. You know, there's a lot of crowns and a lot of jewels in Westport, and I'm proud to say that the Westport Center for Senior Activities is one of those stops. So often realtors in town, sure, they're going to go visit Longshore and they're going to go visit Campo Beach, but they're also going to come visit the Center for Senior Activities because it truly is an asset and can offer so much to the community at large. We have a lot of students and a lot of younger kids that come through the center and either volunteer or share their areas of expertise, mainly in technology. So I welcome everyone into the center. I want kids to grow up feeling comfortable being around an older person, and I want the seniors to, you know, learn what the kids are doing and try to understand the next generation because, my gosh, is it ever so different.
So it might be nice then for a kid who doesn't have a grandparent nearby or a grandparent who doesn't have a grandchild nearby to interact.
Yes, and we've actually had some lifelong relationships established from kids who started coming at the center to volunteer, and then they go off to college and they come back, they recognize some of the seniors, and some of them stay in touch. So it's really nice to see that friendship evolve.
Wow. Westport has a lot of heavy hitters, a lot of people who have accomplished a lot. So I imagine there are people coming into the senior center with amazing backgrounds that you may or may not know about.
Yes, and that brings up a very good point. I get really upset when I learn about what people did in their obituary. It really troubles me because I want people to talk about their accomplishments in their careers while they're alive. And if they have an area, I would like for them to share that with all of us. And so often we read about someone when they're gone. And I was like, darn it, if I only knew that that's what he did or that's what she accomplished, I would have engaged and had a wonderful conversation. So I encourage everyone, you know, every day is a gift. And I've really learned in this job to appreciate life. It is very precious. And through COVID, over the holidays, we lost some seniors that really moved me. And I want to take the time, and I always try to take the time, to talk to a senior in the moment. And I want the senior to engage and to share their accomplishments so that we can enjoy it while they're alive. It's great if they write their legacy, but it's also that dialogue that I can learn from and also the other generations.
So what's that? I mean, you deal with an older population, so they die.
Yeah.
What's that like to lose, you know, this treasured member of your community? It's
a challenge. It's very difficult sometimes. But the flip side of that is it teaches me to live each day to its fullest, to keep what people think are problems in perspective. You know, people complain about, you know, the water's not hot enough. Okay, we'll get it fixed. But really, if that's the only thing that goes wrong with you today, you're having a pretty good day. So it's just taught me to really treasure life. And I want to make sure that every senior who comes to the center enjoys their experiences. And unfortunately, there's times that I don't see that senior again. Unexpected things happen, and I want to make sure that the seniors that come to the center are respected, everyone is treated equally, everyone is welcomed, everyone is challenged in a good way, whether that's mentally, physically, or psychologically. But most importantly, I want them to have a social experience that leaves them on a high, and I want everyone to feel comfortable and happy.
Are you reaching everybody? Is there a segment of the population that, sort of maybe has a stereotype about what a senior center is?
Every time there's a storm, we find out about this little elderly couple that lived on this cul-de-sac. And our department, under the leadership of Elaine Dano, we do all we can, we think, to publicize. We have brochures, we have a website on the town. You, through your 06880, are often very helpful. But unfortunately, we don't reach everyone, and we have to respect some people not necessarily wanting to get involved in a senior center, which is why we call it the Westport Center for Senior Activities. Other people call it the club. I would like to think we're reaching everyone. I certainly want everyone to know that we're there for them. And unfortunately, like everything in life, people usually don't come and ask for help until it's too late or until they need it. But if there's any way that you can help me market the center more, I would love to make sure that every person knows about our facility, because it is really a treasure.
Any people or moments stand out in all these years where you say, yeah, this is why we do what we do?
Every day something special happens. Just today, seeing how happy the seniors were to come back, it really touches my heart. And it reminds me that that's why I'm in this field. You don't go into the field to make money. You go into the field to get rewarded in other ways. And money can never buy the home away from home feeling that I have received from the seniors. They know how much I care about them and how much the staff cares about them. And we know how much we mean to them, and vice versa. So every day is really special. Sure, some seniors win you over, but that's life.
Yeah. So what's ahead for the senior center, both for the center itself and for the senior population of Westport? Are there any trends, anything under the radar that we should be looking for?
So during COVID, we really became a center, virtual center, a center without walls, so to speak. So now the doors are open, seniors are coming back in-house, and we're really dealing with what programs should remain on Zoom, what programs should go hybrid, and what programs should totally come in-house. And that's going to be the new norm. I think it's going to be an equation, a combination of offering all three. I also don't want to make it easy for seniors to just stay home and be on Zoom, because I think they really need to have a purpose and a reason to get dressed, to get out, and to be around people. So we're kind of figuring out the new norm. We have this beautiful facility. Our goal is to do as much as we can back in-house, but we also want to respect this kind of sensitive period of time right now where people still are feeling out their level of comfortability.
It brings up a point I hadn't even thought of. How do they get there? This is a town with not great public transportation.
Believe it or not, most of the seniors drive. Some family members do drop them off, but we also utilize the Westport Transit door-to-door bus service, which has been really reliable. The bus will go right to the senior's door and bring them to the center, bring them home. The drivers help them on and off the bus. It also provides for transportation for them, to the grocery store, to their hairdresser. So that's worked well for us. Some seniors who are hip are using Uber and all of those other apps. But, transportation has always been a difficult challenge for seniors. There's the taxi service, but we try to work with the police department, and we offer AARP, which is a safe driving class, to keep people safe on the roads as they age. No one wants to have the keys taken away. Everyone wants their independence. So that's an ongoing battle and sometimes a challenge for seniors.
Wow. You know the seniors. You know them really, really well, and your love and respect for them is really clear. Anything I should have asked about the Senior Center for Senior Activities, or the population in Westport that I should have asked?
I just think in general, Westport is a really special place to age. And if you can afford to age here, you've got the world in your hands. There's so many opportunities to do things. And the center collaborates. We collaborate with the library, with Parks and Rec, with the Playhouse. We really try to work together as a community to offer a diversified programs. And you know, I look out the windows here, and it's a beautiful, beautiful town. It's safe, it's welcoming, it's accepting, it's warm, it's clean. What more can you want?
Yeah.
What's most important is that everyone is respectful and appreciated when they come, I think, to Westport, but specifically to the Senior Center. And I can't tell you how blessed I feel to have really had my career with the town of Westport.
Well, the seniors are blessed to have you, Sue Pfister, the
Thank you.
director of the Center for Senior Activities. Thank you for being on the podcast. I have learned a ton.
Thank you.
And if anybody wants to visit, they can.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And the address is?
21 Imperial Avenue, and I'd be happy to give you a private tour.
You got it.
Great. Thank you, Dan.
Thanks, Sue.
Thank you.